Hi dear students, I am Nazima Rahmatova, teacher at Bukhara State Pedagogical Institute. Today I will give some information about how to give effective feedback and its types. So firstly we have to define feedback itself. Feedback is information provided about someone's performance, behavior or work with the goal of helping them improve or understand their actions better. For teachers, feedback is considered as an important element of educational process. And in the next slide, we will talk about the types of feedback. So first one is positive feedback, then constructive feedback and negative feedback. One by one, we will um, give some information about those types of feedback. So very first is positive feedback. Positive feedback focuses on strengths or achievements to reinforce good behavior or performance. And just the purpose of this type of feedback is to motivate and encourage continuation of desired actions. For example, teacher may say your essay is well organized and your use of examples really strengthens your arguments. Great job. You can see the element of the positive feedback. For example, well organized, just really strengthens your arguments, and great job. It is really clear, yeah? And the next slide we have constructive feedback. Constructive feedback highlights areas for improvement in a supportive, solution-oriented way. And the constructive feedback helps the recipients improve by providing actionable suggestions or just recommendations. For example, your essay has good ideas, but the structure could be clearer. Try starting each paragraph with a topic sentence to guide the reader. You can see in the first sentence there is a positive feedback, good ideas. However, starting with but, you can see the constructive feedback, the element of the constructive feedback. There is a suggestion to improve the writing, yeah. And in the next slide, there is a useful language about just for the constructive feedback. For example, you are improving, but consider using different styles, maybe in writing. Next time, try to use formal language in speaking. This part is good, but you could work on your topic sentence in writing. Have you thought about using different linking words in your speaking or just writing? Maybe. Let's focus on improving your topic related vocabulary. This is a useful language for giving constructive, effective constructive feedback. In the next slide, we will talk about the negative feedback. And this type of feedback focuses solely on faults or problems without offering solutions. Just the negative feedback often unintentionally discourage or demotivates the recipients, students, any kind of person, yeah. And for example, teacher may say, or any kind of person may say, who is giving the feedback, negative feedback, may say, just your essay is poorly written and hard to understand. The outcome will be this negative feedback leaves the recipient frustrated or unsure how to improve. And here is the poorly written and hard to understand. It are the elements of negative feedback. Okay, let's move the next slide. In this slide, there is another category of feedback according to who gives, and we have three types of feedback according to who gives: teacher's feedback, peer feedback, self-feedback. As the name suggests, the meaning, teacher feedback is um, given by teacher or instructor to the student, and peer feedback uh, is provided by classmates or any kind of colleagues, and self-feedback just is kind of feedback of someone's own work. It's kind of reflection, writing on reflection or telling kind of reflection. And according to the form of feedback, we have another types of classification. There are oral feedback, written feedback, and non-verbal feedback. According to the oral feedback, teacher gives his or her feedback orally. In written, vice versa, just the teacher may write or just write notes, commands, or reports. And in non-verbal feedback, teacher or kind of feedback givers may use expressions or body language. And in the next slide, here you can see the one effective type of method to give feedback. Okay, here you can see the sandwich, yes, and this method called sandwich method. Sandwich has three parts: bread on top, bread, and middle meat, and the bottom again the bread. And we can state this sandwich method. For example, just the top, we have to give positive feedback. In the middle, we have to give a constructive feedback, and the end of the feedback, we have to state again the positive side of a performance or work of a students. So here you can see the steps of the giving feedback using sandwich method. First one is start with positive feedback. Second is provide constructive feedback, and third one is end with encouragement or another positive note. And here you can see the example. For example, your report is very well researched. This is a positive feedback. To make it even better, consider simplifying the charts of easier understanding. And this is a constructive feedback. Overall, great work on addressing key points. Again, the teacher is stating the positive sides of the writing, students writing, yeah. And the next slide, before moving this slide, we have a video about how to give constructive feedback. Okay.
Hello everyone, welcome to Public Speaking. Today's first presenter is Ranjit, and I would ask everyone to give him their full attention. Chantal, could you dim the lights, please?
The British imposed a lot of unpopular taxes on the American colonists and didn't let them elect representatives to the British government. In retaliation, the Americans started to boycott British goods. In 1773, Americans in Massachusetts dumped a shipload of British tea into Boston Harbor. This became known as the Boston Tea Party. As punishment, the British imposed laws known as the Intolerable Acts, including the Quartering Act, which made Americans let British soldiers live in their homes. Some of the American colonies created a Declaration of Rights and Grievances, which they sent to Britain, but the British just sent soldiers to the colonies to put down any rebellion. This led to the first battles of the Revolution at Lexington and Concord.
Thank you, Ranjit. I know it's very hard to give a presentation in front of the entire class. Now, would anyone like to offer Ranjit constructive feedback about his presentation? Any tips for what he might do differently next time? For example, were you all able to hear what Ranjit was saying?
Not really. He needs to speak louder and face the audience.
Yes. Great suggestion. Anyone else?
He was reading from his paper, so it didn't feel like he was really talking to us, you know?
Exactly. It's important when you're speaking to look up every sentence or two and make eye contact with someone in the audience. Anything else that Ranjit could do to appear more relaxed and feel more confident?
He could smile more.
Yes, smiling makes us feel relaxed. Oh, and make sure your phone is off before you speak next time. I do have one more suggestion. To connect with listeners, it's a great idea to use a personal story or experience as an example. Can you try that next time?
I think so, yes. Next week, my presentation will be about the causes and effects of stress.
We look forward to hearing it.
Okay. Here in this video you can see a boy just presenting, yeah, and you can watch the mistakes, yeah, during the presentation, and there is many constructive feedback by his teacher and his what classmates, yeah, group mates, and now we will learn how to give effective constructive feedback. Here are some tips. First one is be specific. Instead of saying your report is bad, you have to say report needs clearer headings and more data analysis in section 3. You have to state specific points where the improvement is needed, okay? And the second one is be timely. You have to provide the feedback as soon as possible while the experience is fresh, while right after performance has ended. Be actionable, and you have to offer clear suggestions on how to improve or maintain good performance. And next one is use just a respectful tone. You have to deliver feedback calmly and professionally to avoid sounding harsh and critical. And next one is use a sandwich method. We've just learned about this, yeah. You have to start with the positive, then you have to address the areas of improvement, and the final part you have to end with the encouragement. And we have new concept for this topic, and this is an uptake. In the next slide, there is a given definition of uptake. So uptake is how well someone understands and uses the feedback they get to improve. It's about taking the advice or commands and making the changes based on them. For example, teacher says you did a great job, but try speaking a bit slower next time so everyone can follow. If student listens and then speaks more slowly in the next presentation, that's good uptake of the feedback. They understood it and made a change. You can see here is the constructive feedback using sandwich method. So, and in order to be more comprehensible for you, you have to watch the video. Yes.
Ranjit is first up again today, and I look forward to his new presentation. Jorge, could you dim the lights, please?
Good morning. Today I'd like to talk about the causes and effects of stress and how to cope with stress. Stress has many causes, including work or school, life events, changes, or unrealistic expectations of yourself. Some effects of stress include headaches, trouble sleeping, depression, or lack of concentration. I know how hard it can be to deal with stress. Last year, I started working after school to save for college, but I didn't have time to do homework and my grades went down. I had trouble sleeping, I only ate junk food, and I stopped hanging out with my friends. Fortunately, I was able to talk with a school counselor to manage my stress. She suggested that I reduce my hours at my job, eat healthy foods, and get some exercise. So I literally started walking home from school and bringing my lunch. I also asked my teachers for extra help. Now, I feel better. It's important to recognize when you're stressed and to ask for help. Thank you.
Great work, Ranjit. I want you all to reflect on how much stronger today's presentation was. Ranjit looked us in the eyes, he spoke clearly, he smiled at us, and he used a personal anecdote to help us feel more connected to him. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Here you can see the uptake after getting constructive feedback, and the boy, the presenter, tried to fix the mistakes previously done in his next presentation. Okay, I think this is the end of our video lesson. Thank you for your attention. Bye.